This is a very tough squad to justify, isn't it? Some bizarre choices here. Clearly some players that should be dropped. Clearly some players that should be in the squad aren't. And to top it all off, England have dropped the worst kit we have ever produced. So it's a bit of a dog's dinner of a day, this is. So let's get into the squad. So just starting off, let's make it clear. Pickford, Henderson and Rashford are unavailable because they're injured. So that's clearly why they're not in this squad. So the three keepers, you're not going to disagree with, really. Anyone's pick then who starts. For me, I would pick Ramsdale, but you wouldn't argue against any of them. All three very good goalkeepers that I think will do a good job for England. So looking at the defenders, there's four right-backs again. For me, I don't think Trent Alexander-Arnold should be in this squad. Look at my previous video. I don't think his heart's in it. I think he'll drop out anyway. He seems to drop out of every other squad. But it's a bizarre choice. Clearly, Trent doesn't fit within the English model. We haven't got a place for him within the squad. Southgate doesn't know how to utilise him. And I think he's just a wasted spot, to be honest with you. Reece James, good to see him back, fitting well again. So I think he's a right choice. Trippier, I think, is England's best right-back. And Walker's very versatile, being able to play in centre mid and all over. So I'm happy with the other guys. At left back, though, I think he's dropped another clanger here. Chilwell coming in, fine, great. I think he is going to be England's first choice left back if he's all fit and well. How the hell has Luke Shaw got in this squad, though? Somebody please tell me. How has he got in? Tyreek Mitchell was absolutely brilliant in the last squad for England. He should clearly be in above Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's played 2 games for Manchester United this season, and he just sends the wrong message out. It's just a poor choice from Southgate. There's no way Shaw should be in this squad above Mitchell. I think it's a real big mistake, but he's stuck with Shaw. So that's mistake number 2, I think, for Southgate within this pick. The centre-backs then, real mixed bag. Mark Gahey, great pick. Eric Dyer, fantastic. Well deserved his place. Arguably England's best centre-back over the past few months. Fikayo Tomori, no complaints there. Connor Cody, fair enough. Good defender, no complaints. Hasn't had a bad start to the season. How on earth, though, is Ben White not in this squad? Arsenal flying at the top of the league. Yes, he's been playing right back, but Ben White should have been one of the first defenders in this team sheet. It's an absolute shocker that he isn't. Real poor decision, and I can't understand it. Cannot get my head around it. And that's exaggerated even more with the obvious inclusion of Harry Maguire. Now, I have always been someone who said you can't just pick players based on performances only for their club. Obviously, the England manager has to have first-team regular players. And as an England manager, you sometimes have to pick players out of form. But there has to be a cut-off. If a player is continuously playing poorly for their club, there has to be a cut-off where they are dropped for the national team. They can't just get in regardless. This was the time for Maguire to be dropped, giving him a kick up the arse so you don't just automatically walk into the England squad, and it would have sent the right message to other players performing well, and it would have given us the opportunity to look at other centre-back pairings heading into the World Cup, because let's be honest, there's no guarantee that Maguire is going to turn this around. It's a poor choice. I think he's lost a bottle here in dropping Maguire. He should have been dropped. He hasn't. How he's got in above Ben White, I don't think anybody will know. And it's just very hard to justify, Gareth. I'm so sorry, but it's just a shocking decision. Moving into midfield then, again a bit of a mixed bag. Jude Bellingham, everyone's picking him in the team sheet. Fair enough. Declan Rice, Mason Mount, James Ward-Prowse, again, fair enough. You think, not been on the best form, particularly Mount and Declan Rice, but they're clearly England future players. They haven't been that bad. They're playing games regular, so you can see why they've been picked. Same with James Ward-Prowse. I think he's a brilliant player. Fair enough. But then you look at Calvin Phillips. How has he got in this squad? And I've got nothing against Calvin Phillips. I think he's a great player. But he isn't playing. He's barely played a minute for Manchester City since his move. When you've got them players like James Maddison, who still cannot get in the England squad. What does James Maddison have to do to get in this England squad? Ben White and Maddison arguably have been 2 of England's best players in the Premier League this season, and they're not in the squad. It's a shocking decision again. I know Maddison is a different player to Phillips, but you just can't pick a player like Phillips who hasn't played any football basically since his move in the summer. It's just a poor choice again. For me, I think it's a shocker that Maddison isn't included. Going up front then, it's again a bizarre choice where he's picking players based on performance, and some where you think, how on earth have they got in? Tammy Abraham, fair enough, great player, playing well. Phil Foden, fair enough, playing well. Same as Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Raheem Sterling, Ivan Toney, all players that you think, fair enough, good players. had a solid start to the season. You can't complain. But then he's included Jared Bowen and Jack Grealish. Bowen, how on earth has Bowen got in this squad? He had a fantastic season last season, but when he was picked for the UEFA Nations League games earlier this year, it was terrible. It was absolutely shocking for England. He hasn't had a good start to the season. You've then got Jadon Sancho sat at home. How has Jadon Sancho not got in this squad above Jared Bowen? I just cannot get my head around it at all. You've then got Jack Grealish, who has been nothing short but poor. Again, I think if Rashford was fit, he's coming in for one of these two. But even then, one of them, Gareth Southgate was clearly going to pick one of them above Jadon Sancho, so it's just bizarre. Southgate seems to have picked a squad that he wants to be playing well at club football, but aren't. So it's sort of a forced squad he's tried to horseshoe in. But it's his last opportunity to look at other players, and I just think he's not been brave enough. I just don't think he's been brave enough for this squad selection at all. Maddison, Sancho, Mitchell, White, all should have been within this squad, and the fact that they aren't, I think, sends a really poor message out to England players. But then on the flip side is included players that have clearly pushed themselves back in. Eric Dyer deservedly gets his call up, so does Ivan Toney. Great pick, Southgate, so you've got to commend him on that. But you don't understand how he's done it there, but not with other players. It's a difficult one. I'm struggling to get my head around this. I just think Southgate is struggling. He's struggling here. He's really struggling. I think England fans are struggling to get in his head. It pretty much shows really what he's going to pick for the World Cup regardless. I hope I'm wrong. But come on, Southgate. But you need to be braver, mate. You need to be a lot braver. And then to top it all off, this morning, this absolute eyesore dropped. I mean, it's the worst kept secret ever. This is England's new home and away kit. I'm just going to say one thing. Nike, just leave. Just leave the room. It is an it looks like I've done it when I was 15 on clip art. That home shirt is England's worst home shirt ever. I think it's that bad. I think it's so poor. I know a lot of people are saying that they don't mind the away shirt, but I do. I just think, where's the originality? Every single kit that Nike have seemed to produce for England, they don't seem to have any of their own originality. It's just such poor design work from Nike. I just don't understand it. It's a dreadful kit. I like I said, I'm sticking with that. That's all I'm going to say on it. I think it's England's worst home kit ever, and I'm begging, and I think we're all begging for Umbro, Manan, anybody to take over designing England kits. So thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of Southgate's squad. Do you agree with what I've said with some of these squad selections? Let me know what you think about England's kit as well. I look forward to seeing your comments. I didn't want this to be a moaning video, but God, what a day. Thank you very much for watching. If you're new here, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.